Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. I hope you're all having a great day. I just want to do a quick video about a company called Square, and in my opinion, if it's currently a buy, a sell, or a hold. Okay, right here I have a current daily chart of Square pulled up, and I made a couple small buys a few weeks ago when the market pulled back. The first buy was at 54.76, right at the support line I have drawn on the chart, which as you can see offered very little support, and my second buy was a couple days later at 41.52. Now I didn't realize it was going to bounce as high as it did, or I certainly would have bought more. But Square was one of three stocks that I've had my eye on for quite a while that I wanted to add to my retirement account, but I was waiting for better prices. Now Square was the company that I bought the least of because I thought they might be the one that was most affected in this downturn, but as you can see on this chart, the stock has been quite resilient. Now, if we back out to the weekly chart, you can see they've had quite a run-up since their IPO back in 2015. Square first caught my eye in 2018 when it went on its huge run all the way to $100 a share. Now, if you think it's expensive now with a forward PE of around 100, you should have seen the numbers back then. But just because a stock has a crazy PE doesn't mean I avoid it. In fact, that can usually mean the company has a bright future ahead of it and investors are willing to pay up for it. Now, operating under the premise of where there's smoke, there's fire, I put Square on my watch list, kept an eye on it, and continued to research it. In case you're not familiar with Square, here's the quick textbook overview. Square is a financial services, merchant services aggregator, and mobile payment company based in San Francisco, California. They market several software and hardware payment products and have expanded into small business services. They were founded in 2009 by Jack Dorsey and Jim McIlvey and launched their first app in 2010. The Square Reader was the firm's first product. It accepts credit card payments by connecting to a mobile device's audio jack. In 2013, they unveiled the Square Stand, which turns an Apple iPad into a point-of-sale system. And in 2015, they launched a Bluetooth-connected reader that works for Android and iOS devices to accept chip and contactless payments. They also offer subscription services to businesses like Square Capital, Square Payroll, and Square Marketing. And they also have a product called Cash App. Now, Cash App is definitely one of their most exciting products. Cash App is a payment app that allows for direct peer-to-peer payments with a mobile device. One of the things that sets Cash App apart from other online payment platforms is the free Visa Certified Debit Card. The optional Visa debit card allows users to use funds from their Cash App account to make purchases from retailers that accept Visa and withdraw cash from ATMs. All you need is a working bank account to be able to transfer money back and forth. And Cash App is also a trading platform that gives you the ability to buy stock and Bitcoin. You can buy fractional shares and get started with as little as $1. Right now, the main source of revenue for Square is transaction fees. Square receives between a 2.5% and a 3.5% fee depending on transaction. Square also generates revenue on their payment terminals. The merchant can either pay a one-time fee for it or choose a monthly rental fee. And as I mentioned before, they generate revenue also by selling subscription services like Square Payroll and Square Marketing. Another great product they have is a lending service called Square Capital. Now, Square Capital is another part of their business that I think has a bright future ahead of it, and I think soon almost all small business lending will be conducted in this manner. If you're using a Square terminal, then Square can see in real time exactly how your business is doing. The advantage they have with this data collection gives them a better ability to evaluate your business. They can determine what services to offer you to grow your business, as well as to better quantify your individual risk as a borrower. Now, this can be done in as little as a few minutes, versus a traditional loan process with a bank that can take as long as weeks or even months to complete. Another aspect of Square Capital is their ability to repay only with a slightly higher transaction percentage fee. This flexibility gives the borrower some leeway if they're having a slower month so they don't have to pay the higher standard payment. The last big reason I think Square has a bright future ahead of it is because of their leader, Jack Dorsey. In the technology sector in particular, it's usually a very good thing to have a futuristic thinking, ambitious founder pushing the company forward. Some of the biggest winners in the stock market had such leaders. For example, Steve Jobs with Apple and Bill Gates with Microsoft, just to name a couple. In April of this year, Dorsey pledged to donate about $1 billion, or approximately one-third of his net worth, for relief programs related to the illness outbreak, including emergency loans to small businesses. Now, for me, this is a huge bonus when thinking about buying a stock for the long term. I like to invest in companies where the leaders have a high degree of integrity and a commitment to doing the right thing, and Dorsey clearly checks all the boxes. Okay, so let's get into the numbers. Right here, I have a chart of the gross payment volume, and as you can see, it's definitely trending in the right direction. In the first quarter of 2016, it was at just over $10 billion, and in the fourth quarter of 2019, it almost tripled to over $28 billion. Now, the next chart is of the transaction revenue, and it's pretty much identical for obvious reasons to the first one, and it has grown from $300 million in the first quarter of 2016 to over $830 million in the fourth quarter of 2019. Now, the next chart is of the subscription services revenue, and this part of the business, in my opinion, has the most potential. And as you can see from the chart, it's been growing quite nicely, from $23 million in the first quarter of 2016 to over $281 million in the fourth quarter of 2019. Now, the last chart I want to show you is of their Bitcoin revenue. This side of their business is the newest, and it's pretty much just starting out, but it's been growing very nicely as well. And the more traction Bitcoin gets in the world, the more this side of the business will benefit. Now, right here, I have an income statement pulled up. And as you can see, they've been growing very fast. By the end of fiscal 2017 to the end of fiscal 2019, total revenue and gross profit more than doubled. And if we flip over to the balance sheet, they had over $2.2 billion in cash and cash equivalents at the end of 2019. So they should have more than enough cash on hand to get them to the other side. Even if the slowdown did drag out for an extended period of time, Jack Dorsey has proven more than capable of raising money when he needs to. In conclusion, I think the financial industry is ripe for disruption, and I think Square is going to be one of the biggest beneficiaries. I think the way they operate Square Capital will become the industry standard. Their Square terminals are very stylish and look much better on a counter than the typical card readers, so they're becoming much more appealing to younger consumers. Bitcoin doesn't look like it's going anywhere and will continue to grow, and Square has invested heavily in that payment space and should benefit greatly from it in the future. Their services sector is growing very fast and should continue to improve and become their most profitable part of the business. As of right now, their payments are only accepted in the United States, Canada, the UK, and Australia, so there are still many more places for Square to expand in the future. Cash App continues to increase in popularity among the younger population and is consistently on the most downloaded app list, and that shouldn't change anytime soon. With that being said, I think Square will have some short-term headwinds in front of it. During this economic slowdown, small businesses have been affected the most, and they are the biggest part of Square's revenue. So I expect the next quarter or two to be weak for Square. And with their forward PE over 100, they're still trading at a very expensive multiple at these levels. And it's also very possible the market rolls over and retests the lows. So for those reasons, I only started a small position in Square. I won't be adding at these levels and will be patiently waiting for better prices before I load up the boat. Okay, so I think I'll end the video right there. If I decide to buy more Square, or even if I get a change of heart and decide to sell off my Square position, I'll make another video and let you know about it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Or if you know of any other high-growth companies, please leave those in the comments section as well. I might not be aware of them, and I would love to check them out. If you could like and subscribe, I sure would appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.